Well, both teams are playing well. I mean, Alabama just had a great win against Auburn, their in-state rival. Played probably as well as they've played all year, and Florida just keeps moving right along. I mean, everybody talks about the close games and this and this. Well, they could also beat you by 25. I mean, they're that good. So they deserve their ranking, and we've got two great challenges for our team.
Our first question is from Roger Rubin of the New York Daily News.
Hey, John.
Hey, Roger.
The NCAA tournament is going to be held. One site is Madison Square Garden. First time for the Garden in maybe in several decades. What did you think when you heard that the Garden was going to be part of the NCAA tournament? And in any way, do you think that it can add value to an already great event?
Well, the great thing is the Garden. You can talk about Final Fours in San Antonio and Final Fours in New Orleans and Final Fours in Indiana and Indianapolis, which are great, terrific sites to put those events. But when you talk about the Garden, you're talking about the Mecca. And when you talk about New York City, now the travel, all the stuff, you can't give yourself 5 minutes to get to the game or get down the elevator and all that stuff. It adds a little bit of that to the games and the preparation. But the Garden just brings more light to a great tournament.
Thanks, John.
Next up is Tom Murphy of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Hey, John, you feel like Wilbekin of Florida might be a top candidate for Player of the Year, and who all do you think is involved in that?
Well, I don't know. I'm to be honest with you, I'm so focused on my team. I'm not really, other than game to game, worried about Alabama right now. But I would say when you look at their games and why he deserves Player of the Year, most outstanding player, most valuable player, whatever you want to call it. When the games are on the line, and they've been in like 7, 8, like nail biters with 2 minutes to go, the ball is in his hands, and he either makes a shot, creates a foul for himself or a teammate, or creates a shot for his teammates. Every time. That's what he's done. And he's playing where he knows he's going to do something. And you know what? Again, that senior veteran, I've been through this, 3 Elite Eights, has really prepared him. He's played behind guys. He was a role player for a while. He's earned his spot. The kid has really done special stuff.
Thank you.
Next up is Larry Vaught of the Danville Advocate-Messenger.
Yeah, John, when you look back at Saturday's game now, how frustrating was that for you and the way the game went for the first 30 minutes?
Well, I wish I would have watched the last 10 minutes because I heard it was pretty good. But I will tell you that, we're a team like every other team out there. At this point in the year, if again, there's a lot of teams trying to figure out, okay, how do we do this? We went from playing Florida and Mississippi on the road thinking we have this figured out. I don't know if it was my arrogance or the team's arrogance, but at the end of the day, whatever's going on with this team comes back to me. It's really funny. It was only about, I think it was a month ago that I said, looks like I got to coach this team like I'm 35 again. And for a while, to get them to play harder, to get them to focus more, to get them to execute more, to let them know what was acceptable and not acceptable. That's what I talked about. But let me say this. I will be whoever I have to be because this isn't about me. It's about this team. And I've got to get them more confident and figure out what do they need me to be? A cheerleader? What do they need me to be at this point? And that's how I've always coached. It's never changed. I mean, if I have to be tough, I'm tough. If I have to be easy, I'm easy. But, again, it was only a few weeks ago that's what we talked about. So as we go forward, the whole point of us, how do we get our defensive confidence? How do we get our offensive confidence? Well, we just had it 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago. How did that change? What did we do different? How did we think different? That's what we're going through now.
And John, like after the game, when James Young was talking about I guess they just didn't concentrate and they didn't listen. That's why you have to scream at them because they just lose their focus. I mean, how disappointing or how eye-opening is that for you this late in the season to have a player?
They're 18 years old, Larry. They're 18 and 19, and they're not machines. You know, I've been through this. I've been, you know, and again, you've seen a little bit of everything. And every team I've coached, it's a process, and they're not one step up, the next step up. You know, I can remember in 2011, no one ever thought we'd win a game, and we couldn't win a road game, and all of a sudden we figured it out late, and that's what we're hoping with this team. And that would be our plan. I mean, my whole thing right now, let's get this defensive confidence back. Let's get this offensive confidence back. What do we have to do in practice to build that? What do we have to do during the games to build that?
Thanks.
Next question is from Todd Lebo of Sports Radio 810 in Kansas City.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned earlier how young some of your players are, and then you mentioned 2011, how you guys figured it out at the end. How valuable do you think experience is to a basketball team in college basketball?
Well, there's no question the teams that are winning right now at the highest level all have some veteran guys. They've got seniors, a lot of them, who were backups at one point in their career. And to play with all young guys like we are right now is really difficult. And what's difficult about it is, like I said, it was only 2 weeks ago we had played Florida and we had played at Mississippi and played as well as we had played all year, and we're looking like we got this thing figured out. But they're 18 and 19. You don't know what shoves them in another direction. Again, I was coaching hard for a while. Now you're trying to figure out what's the next thing. How do I have to do this? How do we have to practice to get them right? With a veteran team, as a coach, you already know how they're going to respond. You have an idea, and they know how you're going to respond as a coach. So they know your response to, you know, not executing, or if I don't play hard, I know how he's going to respond. Or if I get physically pushed around, I know what's going to happen. Well, that's all. We're all growing right now. And again, look, my team, we're talented enough to do what we want. We could beat anybody in the country, but we've also proven we can lose to anybody in the country. And so it is on us right now, and basically it's on me. I don't put this on 18-year-old, 19-year-old kids. They don't know. Do you think they know why they're going through what they're going through? In most cases, they don't. It's our job, and my job as the head coach, to figure out what we have to do, how we have to do it, to get them to play as well as they can possibly play.